Picture this: a young king, Solomon, ascends to the throne of a powerful and united Israel. The son of David, Solomon inherits the throne amidst a time of peace and prosperity. His father, David, had fought tirelessly, uniting the 12 tribes of Israel into a formidable nation. Now, the mantle of leadership falls upon Solomon's shoulders. It's not an easy task, ruling a kingdom. It's even harder when you're following in the footsteps of a legendary figure like David. But Solomon isn't your average young king. He's wise beyond his years, and he knows that he needs help. So he does what any wise man would do: he seeks divine guidance. In a dream at Gibeon, God himself appears to Solomon. He offers Solomon an incredible opportunity, a chance to ask for anything he desires. Now imagine the possibilities, but Solomon, in his humility and understanding of the tremendous responsibility he carries, makes a surprising choice. He doesn't ask for wealth, power, or long life. Instead, he asks for wisdom, the wisdom to govern his people justly and wisely. God, impressed by Solomon's selfless request, grants him not only the wisdom he sought, but also riches and honor beyond measure. Solomon's wisdom quickly becomes legendary, drawing people from far and wide to seek his counsel. His kingdom flourishes, and his reign begins to symbolize a golden era of peace and prosperity for Israel. And so, Solomon's reign begins. It's marked not just by the wealth and power of his kingdom, but more importantly, by his divine wisdom and his heart for his people. This young king, thrust into a role of immense responsibility, chooses to lead not with power but with wisdom. He chooses to serve his people, to guide them with justice and fairness. Thus began Solomon's reign, marked by divine wisdom and a heart for his people. Imagine a kingdom flourishing under the guidance of a wise king. This was the reality of Israel under the reign of King Solomon. His rule was marked by wisdom, wealth, and prosperity, painting a picture of a golden era in Israel's history. Solomon's wisdom was nothing short of extraordinary. It was a divine gift bestowed upon him by God himself. This was not a wisdom confined to books or philosophical debates. It was a practical wisdom, a discerning heart that knew right from wrong, justice from injustice. His wisdom spread far and wide, drawing people from across the globe to seek his counsel. The story of the two women, each claiming to be the mother of the same child, is a testament to Solomon's wisdom. His suggestion to divide the child revealed the true mother's identity, showcasing the depth of his insight. But Solomon's reign was not only marked by wisdom, but also by prosperity. Israel flourished economically, culturally, and politically under his rule. Solomon's wise administration saw the kingdom's wealth and influence expand through trade, alliances, and diplomatic relations with neighboring nations. The nation was thriving, its people living in abundance, and its borders secure. One of the most significant achievements during Solomon's reign was the construction of the first temple in Jerusalem. This was not just a magnificent architectural feat, but a symbol of God's dwelling among his people. The temple stood as a beacon of faith, a testament to the close relationship between God and the Israelites. It was a place where the divine and human intersected, where the people could come to worship, offer sacrifices, and seek God's guidance. Under Solomon's rule, Israel became a beacon of divine favor. His wisdom, combined with the nation's prosperity, painted a picture of a kingdom under the direct blessing of God. People from far and wide, including the Queen of Sheba, visited Solomon's kingdom to witness its splendor and seek the wise king's counsel. Yet, even in this era of prosperity and divine favor, it's important to remember that wisdom is not just about wealth and power. It's about understanding the weight of responsibility, about ruling justly and fairly, about knowing right from wrong. Solomon's wisdom was a divine gift, a tool given to him to rule his people wisely and justly, and so, under Solomon's rule, Israel flourished, becoming a beacon of divine favor. His reign stands as a testament to the power of wisdom and the prosperity it can bring to a nation, but it is also a reminder that wisdom is not just about knowledge or wealth, it's about understanding, about justice, about knowing right from wrong, and it's about using that wisdom to guide and lead, to create a kingdom that is not just prosperous but also just and fair. News of Solomon's wisdom and the splendor of his kingdom reached the ears of the Queen of Sheba. Such was the fame of Solomon's wisdom and prosperity that it crossed deserts and mountains, traversed oceans and rivers, to reach the far-off land of Sheba. Intrigued and perhaps slightly skeptical, the Queen of Sheba decided to undertake the arduous journey to Israel herself. This was no ordinary visit, for it was led by intense curiosity and a thirst for truth. She carried with her a wealth of gifts, but more importantly, she brought a barrage of hard questions ready to test Solomon's famed wisdom. Solomon, the wise king, welcomed her with open arms. The queen posed her riddles and enigmas, and Solomon with divine wisdom answered them all. No question was too complex, no riddle too baffling for Solomon. The Queen of Sheba was left in awe, her skepticism replaced with admiration. She marveled at the prosperity of his kingdom, the happiness of his people, and the orderliness of his court. The grandeur of his palace, the extravagance of his feasts, and the sheer scale of his offerings to God left her breathless. But what truly impressed her was Solomon's wisdom, his profound understanding of life and governance, his discerning judgment, and his insightful reflections. This was no ordinary king, and this was no ordinary kingdom. She realized that Solomon's wisdom and prosperity were not mere luck or human achievement. They were the divine favor of a God who loved his people and blessed those who served him faithfully. Overwhelmed by the marvels she saw, the Queen of Sheba bore witness to the greatness of Solomon and his God. She acknowledged Solomon's wisdom and the splendor of his kingdom, attributing it rightly to his God. She left with a newfound respect for Solomon and a deep reverence for his God, a powerful testimony to all the nations of the earth about the God of Israel and his servant King Solomon. However, even the wisest of kings can falter. This truth came to pass in the later years of King Solomon's reign. The king, once a beacon of divine wisdom and humility, began to stray from the path he had once so diligently followed. Solomon's heart, which had been wholly devoted to the Lord, started to waver. The king's alliances and marriages to foreign women brought a multitude of gods into the kingdom. Solomon, swaying under the influence of his foreign ties, allowed the worship of these foreign gods. He built high places for the worship of deities such as Ashtoreth, Milcom, and Chemosh, leading Israel into spiritual infidelity. These actions marked a stark contrast to the Solomon we knew earlier, the king who had asked God for wisdom to lead his people wisely. The king, who once stood as a symbol of divine favor, was now leading his people away from their God. The spiritual fidelity of Israel, which had been the cornerstone of its prosperity, began to wane. This decline didn't go unnoticed by the Lord. The God who had twice appeared to Solomon, who had granted him wisdom, wealth, and honor, was now aggrieved by his actions. In response to Solomon's transgressions, God delivered a stern prophecy. The Lord foretold that the kingdom would be torn apart after Solomon's death. However, for the sake of David, Solomon's father, this would not happen during Solomon's lifetime. The prophecy marked the beginning of the end of Solomon's prosperous reign. The kingdom that had once flourished under his rule was now set on a path of division and decline. The king, once admired for his wisdom and fairness, was now a figure of spiritual decline. In the twilight of his reign, Solomon was a stark reminder of the consequences of straying from one's spiritual path. His story serves as a cautionary tale about the perils of letting worldly influences cloud one's commitment to divine principles. The king, who had brought unparalleled prosperity and peace to Israel, was now leaving behind a legacy marred by spiritual decline. It's not the wealth, the power, or the alliances that define a leader, but the principles they uphold. Solomon, despite his wisdom, allowed his principles to be swayed, leading to the decline of his kingdom. His story serves as a reminder that wisdom, without spiritual fidelity, can lead one astray. Thus, Solomon's reign, once marked by wisdom and prosperity, ended in spiritual decline. The king, who had built a temple for the Lord, who had led Israel into an era of peace and prosperity, was now the cause of its spiritual downfall. The legacy of Solomon, a story of wisdom, prosperity, and decline, serves as a timeless lesson for all. Despite his later shortcomings, Solomon's legacy remains a testament to the enduring impact of divine wisdom. His reign, marked by wisdom and prosperity, serves as a compelling narrative in the annals of biblical history. Solomon's story is not merely a story of a wise king and his prosperous kingdom, it's a narrative brimming with lessons about leadership, wisdom, and the perils of losing one's spiritual fidelity. The story of Solomon's wisdom, which brought peace and prosperity to his kingdom, underscores the importance of seeking divine guidance. His wisdom was not a result of his own doing, but a divine gift from God, a testament to the power of humility and the earnest desire to serve others. Solomon's wisdom, renowned throughout the land, attracted seekers of knowledge and truth from far and wide, cementing his legacy as a wise and just ruler. Yet Solomon's story also serves as a cautionary tale. Despite his wisdom, Solomon faltered in his later years, straying from his spiritual foundation. His alliances with foreign nations, cemented through marriages, led to the introduction of foreign gods into Israel. This spiritual infidelity, a stark contrast to the wisdom-driven leadership of his earlier reign, resulted in the foretold division of his kingdom after his death. The decline of Solomon's kingdom serves as a poignant reminder of the consequences of straying from one's principles and spiritual foundation. It teaches us that wisdom alone is not enough. One must also remain true to their spiritual values and not be swayed by external influences or the allure of power and wealth. Solomon's story, a blend of wisdom and folly, prosperity and decline, serves as a timeless reminder of both the power of wisdom and the consequences of folly. His legacy, though marred by his later transgressions, continues to echo through the ages, reminding us of the importance of seeking divine wisdom, maintaining humility, and upholding our spiritual foundation. It's a lesson as relevant today as it was thousands of years ago, a testament to the enduring wisdom of King Solomon. King Solomon's reign is a captivating tale of wisdom, prosperity, and divine favor. From the moment he ascended the throne, Solomon sought divine guidance to lead his people justly. His humble request for wisdom, rather than riches or power, was met with divine approval, and he was bestowed with not only unparalleled wisdom, but also riches and honor beyond measure. Solomon's wisdom was renowned far and wide, attracting seekers of counsel from distant lands. His wisdom was not just theoretical but practical, as evidenced by the famous story of the two women claiming to be the mother of the same child. His judgment in that case showcased his divine wisdom and understanding of the human heart. Under his rule, Israel flourished economically, culturally, and politically. The construction of the first temple in Jerusalem symbolized God's dwelling among his people. Solomon's reign was marked by peace and prosperity, making the kingdom a beacon of divine favor. This prosperity and peace were not solely due to Solomon's wise leadership, but also to his diplomatic relations and alliances with neighboring nations. However, Solomon's story also serves as a lesson in the pitfalls of straying from divine guidance. His heart turned away from the Lord in his later years, leading to the spiritual decline of the nation and the subsequent division of the kingdom after his death. In contemporary times, Solomon's story serves as a reminder of the importance of seeking divine guidance and maintaining humility. It highlights the potential pitfalls of straying from principles that uphold a nation's spiritual foundation. His legacy, though marred by his later shortcomings, remains a testament to the enduring impact of divine wisdom on the affairs of men. In conclusion, Solomon's reign was a story of wisdom, prosperity, divine favor, and also a warning against the dangers of straying away from divine guidance. This ancient tale still holds relevance today, reminding us of the importance of humility, wisdom, and adherence to principles. What lessons do you draw from King Solomon's story? Comment below and share your thoughts with us.